morning, everyone. Welcome to today's video. I am at the corner of Eglinton and Chaplin Crescent. That's facing westbound, but today we are walking eastbound. Welcome. It's been a while. I thought today I meant to record, I think Sunday afternoon, and then I was going to record yesterday. So obviously neither happened. So I thought this morning while I'm out for a walk, why don't I catch you up since my last video. I think my last video was, sorry about that, I just sort of turned off the recording. Make sure everything is, okay, it's back on. Sorry, I turned off my camera for a hot second there. So I think the last time I recorded was maybe April, and that was my dog's, the anniversary of his passing. That would have been in April, so I think it's been that long. Now I have done a few recordings since, except I haven't published them yet because there's major editing that is required. And I don't know if I'm up for it yet. Anyway, it was, I think I recorded a few restaurant visits, and I wanted to make sort of a restaurant visit recording as something different. And so they're still waiting to be edited. I don't even know what restaurants I recorded. I don't remember. Anyway, that video may or may not come up. And I did another video too, but I can't remember what that was about either. Anywho, if I do decide to edit them and get them up, you'll see them. So I am walking eastbound on the south side of Eglinton. I'm walking eastbound, and I've been doing most of my walks, I have to say, early in the morning. That's another reason why I haven't been recording. I just sort of roll out of bed and put my clothes on and just go for a beautiful morning walk when it's quiet for the most part. It is a Tuesday morning, as I mentioned. I think it's about 7:45. And this is one of the walks that I do. So I'm out of the house for just a little bit over an hour. And it's in my neighborhood. Really enjoying it. I started doing really early morning walks back in November of 2023. So November, it's usually dark when I get out of bed, so I leave anywhere between 6 and 7. And I really loved it. I really loved going for those walks. And I have to tell you, the reason why, aside from I do like morning walks, but the reason why I would get up so early is so I didn't have to wear sunscreen. It may be a lame excuse to most, but as much as with all the sunscreen I have in my house and I wear it every day, I really dislike wearing sunscreen. I have, I don't know how many I have. I buy a lot, and then I donate a lot to family and friends. Until I find one that I can comfortably wear. I have a feeling I will forever be on that hunt, but I have found one that I think I quite like. And it's mostly just, facial sunscreen. I do let my body receive some vitamin D from the sun. But I will put sunscreen on my body. I just don't put it on as thick on my body as I do on my face. So yeah, so I get up in the morning because to avoid sunscreen, but then I really realized how much I miss getting up super early, because of course when I used to work, I used to get up super early, go for early morning runs, and then get ready and go to work. And I love that peaceful time in the morning. I'm going to make a quick stop here at Scotiabank. I need to get some cash. And as soon as I get there, I'm going to stop the video, but I will restart it once I come out. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And yeah, everything has been good. Both David and I are doing well. Certainly enjoying summer in Ontario. There's really nothing quite better than summer in Ontario. We do have beautiful summers here. But we do have a few vacations planned. And we are going to one of his sister's cottage this coming week, and then we're going to his other sister's cottage in a couple weeks. My niece is coming from Calgary. One of my nieces is coming from Calgary for a visit. And that's going to be, before you know it, it's going to be September. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. Well, I guess I'm not going to conclude this video or stop at this point because the ATM is closed. Okay, we're just going to continue our walk. Now I'm still walking eastbound on Eglinton. I'm walking on the north side of Eglinton. Yeah, so what's been going on? What else has been going on? So we had a great weekend. We went with David's sister, her husband, and friends of theirs. We went to see Tina Turner, the Tina Turner musical, at the Ed Mirvish Theatre here in Toronto on Saturday. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Hang on a second, folks. My glasses just lost part of the arm. Okay, here we go. Anyway, before that we went to Alouette Restaurant, which is a cute little restaurant on Spadina, downtown, Spadina Road. Or is it Spadina Avenue? Anyhow, Spadina in Toronto, Alouette. It was a lovely, lovely dinner. It's sort of diner-style seating, but the food is rather, well, I guess you would consider fine dining, for sure. But it's a really, really cool vibe in that restaurant. It is a bit pricey, but cool vibe. We really liked it. Anyhow, we all had a lovely meal, and we thought that for some reason we had it in our head that the theater, because we were going to see the Tina Turner musical, for some reason we all thought it was like on King or Queen or the Royal Alex, I think is, and there's a few theaters on that main drag downtown, I think on King, near Spadina. Anyhow, so the plan was from the restaurant to walk to the theater, which we all did, but then we realized that we had passed those theaters that we thought maybe one was going to be the Ed Mirvish Theatre, only to find out where in fact the Ed Mirvish Theatre was, and it was Yonge and Victoria, roughly. Yonge Street and Victoria, between Yonge Street and Victoria Street. Anyhow, much further than where we thought. And of course we were on foot because we had taken an Uber down to the restaurant. And anyhow, there was a bit of a panic because we only gave ourselves half an hour to get from the restaurant to the theater. And considering that the theater or the restaurant the theater, was further away than we anticipated. We had to really hustle. So we were discussing what to do, and I thought, you know what, it's so close. I'm just gonna whip over there. I'm gonna run. If I have to run or walk 100 miles an hour, I want to do it. I just didn't want to take an Uber. And anyhow, so David and I decided that we're just going to go ahead and move our butts. And we hustled our butts to the theater. We made it there with 5 minutes to spare, and then the other two couples showed up, so we all made it just in time, luckily. Sweaty, because it was a beautiful, hot evening on Saturday night. Anyhow, so we saw the Tina Turner concert. It was in 2 parts. There was a short intermission, and the music, of course, was all music that my generation would certainly recognize. And it told her story, and I think for the most part we all know that she had a rather rough marriage, and but what I didn't know was the very beginnings of her life when she was a child. And she grew up she grew up initially with her mom and her dad and a sister. And then the mother left the family, but took the younger sister with her and moved. I'm not sure where they moved to, but anyhow, they moved away. And then Tina Turner's father just sort of left. And then Tina Turner went to go live with her mother and her sister. And Tina Turner's name was Anna Mae. That was her birth name, Anna Mae, and I don't remember what her maiden name was. And anyhow, so that it just talked how she met Ike Turner, her husband, I think when she was 17. So at that age, being fairly sheltered, and then meeting Ike Turner, who was already a musician, and I think fairly well known, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he was considerably older. So he could, he realized how, innocent and I guess naive she was at being 17, and I guess just, ended up bullying her and so forth. But anyhow, then when she left him, I think she had 2 sons at that point, and you can read this all, on Google. But from the play, so she had two kids, and she wasn't really earning a lot, and she had a lot of bills. And anyhow, one thing led to another, and then she reclaimed her second act, so to speak, in the 80s. And I remember going to, I think it was a Lionel Richie concert in the 80s, where Tina Turner, I think, opened for Lionel Richie. I could be mistaken. But anyhow, I do remember Lionel Richie. I remember Tina Turner in Calgary in the early 80s, watching their performance. And I've always had a soft spot for Tina Turner because she was, her music was music that, whole Private Dancer album and the music that she performed in the 80s, I grew up with. I was in my 20s then. And we used to go out, my friends and I, go to nightclubs, and, Tina Turner music was playing. It was so popular. Yeah, so that was great. That was Saturday night. And then Sunday, was it Sunday? No, it was Friday. I'm sort of not doing this in the right chronological order, but Friday, David and I, we put the bikes on the car and we went down to near Cherry Beach and did a bunch of cycling to the Humber Bridge. So we had a good day of cycling. And that whole area down near Cherry Beach there's a lot going on, a lot of changes. The new bridges are down there. There's all kinds of construction happening. It is to be seen. Last time we were there last summer, but the progress of the development that's going on there now has significantly increased from last year. Almost unrecognizable, at least to me. Anyhow, so we had a great cycle, and then we ended up stopping at Harbourfront, and we went to Starbucks, got some goodies, and then walked over to Harbourfront and sat outside and just enjoyed the sights, people watching, and just the beautiful weather and the water. And anyhow, we got these two rather decadent, I can't remember what they were called. It was salted caramel something. It was like whipping cream and ice cream, and it was a drink, a tall drink, totally decadent. We each got one of those, plus we each got some baked goods. I couldn't finish everything. That drink was so filling. I had no problem with the baked goods. Those went down pretty quickly. But that drink that we had, that milkshake type drink we had, was so filling I couldn't finish it. Anyhow, so luckily we got back on the bikes because we could barely move. We got back on the bikes, and that certainly helped the digestive system. And we had a nice cycle back to the car. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't rainy or windy. It was really, really a good day. And then Sunday. So I went from Saturday, just finished talking about Friday. Now I'm jumping to Sunday. A friend that I used to work with, she is, her side gig, I guess, it's more community, I think, volunteer. She does theater. She's a theater actress. Oh, everybody up for pickleball. And she is performing until I think the end of July. I think there's 5 performances a week, if I'm not mistaken. And it's called Death Trap. And it's in a little theater right on Queen Street, sort of near the beaches area. I can't remember the name of the theater. Red something. Anyhow, it's small. Be prepared if you do go. The air conditioning is there, but you barely feel it. It's a small little, super small theater, and the air conditioning. They have 2 air conditioners, but you could barely feel it. We were super hot. Anyhow, that's irrelevant. The play was fabulous. I had never seen. There's a movie I remember with Christopher Reeve and his name is on the tip of my tongue. Christopher Reeve was one of the actors, and oh my God, I just said his name the other day, the other actor, English actor. Anyhow, it was a movie I think that was made it was made in the 80s. I never did see it, but I remember thinking I wanted to see it because I really loved both actors. I loved how they act, and in performances I had seen in the past. And anyhow, so I didn't know what the play was about. I didn't know what the movie's about because I'd never seen it. But if you've seen the movie Death Trap, the play was that performance, and it was fabulous. Actually, the acting was excellent, in my view, and my friend, or the person that I used to work with, she was one of the main characters in the first act. She played the wife. I think her name was Myrna in the play. Anyhow, it was so good. It's just so well done, and the play itself is well written, really, really good. So that was our weekend. it was a lovely, lovely weekend. And then tomorrow, sometime this week, we're heading off a couple of days to the cottage, and then we're back, and then it's going to be August. Then we're going to another friend's cottage, I forgot to mention, and then after the end of the summer, we are going to my other and sister-in-law's cottage. So we are getting some water time. That's David's jam. He loves going to the cottage. He loves to hang out on the dock and read and do his crossword puzzles. Ever since I've been with David, there's been a family cottage, and we've gone every year. But I just have become much more restless the last several years about just hanging out at the cottage, because not a lot to do. The good news is the cottages that are at Thousand Islands, there's the parkway there, and it's excellent for cycling because it's like a sidewalk, so there's no traffic there. You're cycling alongside the traffic. And the other cottage that we're going to is in Muskoka, and we've been to 2 cottages up in Muskoka. We were there earlier this summer at a cottage there, but you can't cycle. It's just not conducive to cycling. The roads are too narrow, and there is too much traffic, and they do go fairly fast. And so we're going to another cottage in Muskoka. Same sort of thing. You can't really cycle there, but I am bringing my bike to... Both sister-in-laws have cottages in a Thousand Islands, so I can easily get on the parkway and ride my bike for as long as I want without worry of traffic. So that will be good. And that's sort of what's been happening of late, everyone. And there was I've been kind of a little obsessed lately with, I don't know if you're familiar with the store Brooks Brothers. Brooks Brothers is an American retailer. Sell men's and women's clothes, but most of their clothing, not like 99% of their clothing, is more business, like corporate, very corporate, like formal corporate, not corporate where you wear your blue jeans. It'd be like a law firm corporate, where typically staff have to dress more formally. Anyhow, that Brooks Brothers suits that type of environment. But what I found at Brooks Brothers, because I do wear jeans 99% of the time, and I'm just kind of a bit tired wearing jeans, and I thought, well, it'd just be nice to have a nice pair of very plain pants, like wool pants. And I would be looking for, probably the last several months, looking for wool pants. This is, of course, before the spring, summer. So it was, it would have been, I think, December maybe. Anyhow, and you think I could find wool pants that weren't $1,000. I didn't want to spend $1,000 on a pair of pants. And I looked, and then I became an obsession looking for just some plain wool pants. In December, I came across Brooks Brothers because they were totally off my radar. I never really shopped there. And I found pants, very fine wool, plain, super plain, like very plain. And that actually fit my body shape. And, they weren't baggy, they weren't oversized, they fit the way I want them to fit. And we're at Briar Hill Avenue right now. That's looking westbound. And now we're going to continue eastbound. The beautiful flowers. Anyway, so just so, by fluke, I came across the Brooks Brothers in December, and they had this major sale. And it just so happened that I found a pair of pants that were exactly what I wanted. The only alterations that were required were hemming them, because that's sort of, I'm only 5'3", so typically everything needs to be hemmed. And they fit perfectly. The wool is beautiful, 100% wool. Anyhow, love, love, love. So thrilled. So I thought, okay, I got a black pair. And then, anyhow, I now have, I think, 3 pair, navy blue, which is a heavier wool, more for winter. And then a black pair. And there's another color I think I have, anyhow. And they were they were regular $399, and I got them for 70% off. That was a steal of a deal. Anyhow, so I've been keeping my eye out. They had, and their whole spring collection came in, and a lot of it is not my jam. But again, I was looking for some just 100% cotton, not jeans, but 100% cotton pants. Again, very, very, very plain. Plain, plain, plain. Oh, look at the puppy. And so I thought, wow, they're having a sale, but then they're having more than just a sale. I found out that they are leaving Canada, Brooks Brothers. And the funny thing is, so they had 2 locations in Toronto, well, one in downtown by Union Station and one on Bloor. I know there's a couple of other locations in Toronto. Anyhow, they had a location right on Bloor Street, sort of across, like right near Holt Renfrew on the south side. And then they moved, in 2024, they moved to Bloor Street and University, right sort of across from the ROM where Club Monaco used to be. There's that beautiful old building on the south east side of University and Bloor. It's a beautiful older building. Oh, puppy. You would know it. If you lived here, you would know what building I'm talking about. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's been a few different. I remember it being a Banana Republic, and they had a little restaurant just outside on the university side several years back. And then it was vacant for the longest time. And then Brooks Brothers left their Bloor Street location that was further east. They moved to that corner spot in 2024. And now they are leaving Canada. So you would think they would know before they made that major move that they were going to be shutting their doors. But anyhow, yeah, so Brooks Brothers is leaving Canada. Anyhow, it's taking me a long time to get to my point. So for David, I thought, those clothes have never been his style of clothes. David has gone to work, I think, the majority of his working life in blue jeans. And but he likes wearing linen shirts and golf shirts in the summer. And I guess polo shirts, they're called polo shirts or golf shirts. Anyhow, so they have excellent quality at Brooks Brothers. They had Suprema cotton, 100% Suprema cotton golf/polo shirts for men that were regular, I think, $150, and we got, I think, 4 of those shirts for $50. And so when I saw that they had that sale on those polo shirts, I mentioned it to David. He hates buying clothes. He certainly does not like to spend money on clothes. And I thought it was just, a stretch. But I thought I'd mention it to him, these nice polo shirts. And he seemed like quite quite engaged to consider those shirts. So anyhow, last week we went out for dinner. We were in Yorkville, and I said, let's stop at Brooks Brothers and check out those polo/golf shirts. And there we go. It's now a week later, and we have 4 polo/golf shirts for David. They're lovely Suprema cotton. Suprema cotton is a premier cotton. It's strong, it's durable. The fibers are longer than I guess regular cotton, if that makes any sense. And anyhow, and they wash really well. The beauty of, I'm just so thrilled that David would actually buy shirts. $50 for him is a stretch. And like I said, he doesn't like to buy nor spend money on clothes or shoes. Anyhow, just to remind me of a funny story that a few years back, David and I were in Italy, and we were taking a train I think we were taking the train from Roborito to Lake Garda. I think it was Roborito. Anyhow, there was a cute train station. And so while we were waiting for our train, it was quite a wait for the train. So I started to wander around. David stayed with the luggage and was reading, and I was wandering around the train station. Anyhow, I came across this cute little store. We're on Yonge Street right now. That is looking north on Yonge. And obviously that's looking south on Yonge. It's about 21 when I left the house. Bit overcast, but it's gorgeous out. Calm and gorgeous. Anyway, so I wandered around, and I came across the store. I still remember it was called Cotton and Silk. And they had both men's and women's clothes, casual wear, summer wear. Linen shirts I saw, and really nice cotton shorts for men. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to see David in these clothes? And as I mentioned, don't forget, it is really hard for me to get him to buy something new. And I took my chance. So anyhow, I saw these really nice, and the seller point here that would seal the deal was the price of these clothes. So the shorts, I think, were either €20 or worked out to be 20 Canadian, I can't remember, dollars. And the linen shirts, about the same. So really cheap, rather, not cheap, but inexpensive, and the quality was good. And so David was just sort of outside the store where he was waiting, and I did have to sort of holler to him to get his attention, because I wanted him to look at these shirts and shorts that I pulled out. And so first, grumble, but then he looked and he said, oh. So then I put the clothes sort of where I was standing and switched places with David. So I looked after the luggage and he went looking. And he ended up buying, I think, 3 or 4 pairs of shorts and 3 or 4 linen shirts, plus a couple of golf/polo shirts. And the funny thing is, he still wears those clothes today. They're still in great condition, except for those polo/golf shirts. They shrunk. And they don't look as good. I mean, they're still wearable, but I think they're too short. But he's still, of course, wearing them. Anyhow, a couple years later, we went back to Italy, same place. We went to Lake Garda, and I guess to explain the reason why we went back to the same place was because David was an avid windsurfer, and Lake Garda is great for windsurfing. And so we still had to stop at that same train station, but this time, the time between the time we got off from the last train before we caught the next train to get to Lake Garda was a shorter distance, so we didn't have time necessarily to shop, but we had a plan. I stayed up at the train tracks with the luggage. David knew, we decided in advance what color shorts and shirts he needed. And he just beelined it down there, knew his size, and picked up some more shirts and shorts. So it was kind of a cute story because, you know, the whole time I'm hoping that he can get there and back in time to meet the next train connection. Anyhow, that was a fun story. That was a long story about going from shopping at Brooks Brothers to shopping in a train station in Italy. Folks, I'm going to make a more concerted effort to, you know, do at least a video a month. That is my goal. If I do more, I'm happy to, but I go out every day to walk. I walk every day. And a lot of my walking is just, you know, I'm out for at least an hour a day, but a lot of my walking is sort of in my neighborhood, or, you know, I have sort of my perimeter, you know, the same places that typically we all go to, our favorite haunts, and I think it'd be boring to keep doing the same videos over and over, so I don't do a lot of recording. I certainly have gotten rusty with my recording. I need to get back in the saddle, so to speak, and record. So yeah, so I do commit to doing a recording a month. I don't know when it's going to happen, but the plan is to do a recording a month. And if anything, any little tidbits I have to offer in between, I will post those as well. We're at Broadway Avenue to the east, Montgomery Avenue to the west, on Yonge Street looking south. And this is my old neighborhood, which is literally like a 10-minute walk from my current neighborhood. Anyhow, folks, I'm going to conclude the video here. I thank you very much for joining me in today's video and sticking by and watching my videos, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. This is Booba Girl Walking, signing off.